Hey folks, it's your boy, the Warp Forge, coming at you with the freshest of Night Lord takes, with a massive sprue of essentials from the Legionary kit. So, what is this video about? As you can see from the title, it's a vlog progress. It's going to be something to do with Night Lords. So, what is this video about? Well, the end of every month, what I would like to provide is a video update on where my Night Lords are. The last 6 months have been harsh. From what people have know from the previous video that I made, it only got a bit more grimmer. I say grimmer, it has gotten not great. Within 6 months, both my grandparents on my mother's side passed away. But I'm determined not to let grief hold me down. In my own private life, I've been doing things to not hold me down, because at the end of the day, to be brutally honest, I've let lesser things dwell on me longer. And I don't want to be that sort of person. So in my private life, I've just been trying to keep myself up, not tying myself down, doing little bits of exercise. I'm going to the gym, I'm taking daily walks. I've got a step goal of 5,000 that I've been hitting for about 53 days now. So what I'm basically doing right now is I'm just not letting things tie me down. It's been a while since I've made another video, and I've still got a backlog of stuff to edit, but with that takes time, and time is what the biggest frenemy of the channel. Like I say, I've got tons of unboxings that I need to finish, like painting KG Beast and such. However, with 10th edition now released, and I enjoy the simplification and condensation of the 9th edition rules into 10th edition, it's time to get back on the saddle. It's time to get freaky with the Night Lords. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you've seen previous videos of mine, you know that I was working in the Ave Dominus Nox project. And the Ave Dominus Nox project was to show the next steps forward to getting painted models done for battle reports and conversions and just oozing models of character. Obviously, you saw these. If you've seen these project videos, more power to you. They were fun. But my main issue I always had was I was always improving with my painting. Because I'd love to take these models, go to tournaments, maybe not win first place, though that would be a nice thought, but we know our story with the Night Lords. To be able to go to a tournament and be in a chance with winning Best Painted is what I aim for. The second aim, probably the more important aim, is to bring armies worthy of battle reports. These models have old parts for nostalgia, 3D printed parts, and third-party parts in some instances. Like this backpack over here, if you can see it. And the reason why I want these characterful armies is because these games are filled with narrative and story, and that's what I want to present. That's what I want to show. I want to show niche corners that you don't really see on many, if any, other YouTube channels, and present stories in the form of battle reports. And to do that, you've got to have immersive armies to be shown to draw you in. And that's what these Night Lords are. Night Lords are my favourite army in the entirety of 40k. I love the lore, I love the background, I love the paint scheme, I love my personal backstories for the many iterations ranging from Horus Heresy to the current timeline of the Arcs of Omen. With 10th edition now rising it's out now. It's time to get back on the saddle. I want to get the best Night Lords that can be seen on YouTube. In kit bash and conversion potential, in modelling, in 3D bits, everything. I want to show the best Night Lords you can see on YouTube. And that's my goal. These videos right here are going to show that progress. Every week I'm going to make a short vlog of where I'm at with this progress, and at the end of the month it'll be one large video as you're seeing right now. So what is my goal for this month? What am I going to get painted this month? These boys. All the power armor that is fully assembled are going to get painted this month. That's my goal. All the way through July, all I'm going to do is eat, sleep, work, paint. I tried one of these goals before in March, 5 weeks to get 20 possessed done, and it burnt me out horribly. And it burnt me out horribly because I wasn't really that enthusiastic about possessed. They felt more something I was shoehorning into a list to make work for 9th edition. I don't have that problem anymore. I have models that I actually want to paint. So I think now is the best time, more than ever, to get the core stuff done. 10th edition's out. I want to make battle reports for 10th edition. I want to get these models painted for 10th edition. 10th edition looks fun. I've had a few games, some great, some not so great, just entry-level games, but I enjoy the condensation and the compression of 9th edition that is now 10th. I appreciate that vehicles are a lot more prominent now as well, because I am a treadhead. It surprises me why I haven't been a Night Warriors player before, but that's on the cards for another day. Right now is just a case of sitting down, getting through these stuff, setting realistic goals to get it all done. So I think in the next video, in the next update, next week, we'll see where we're at. Week 1. This is week 1. I look forward to getting these boys done.
So to start beginning production run of these bad boys and boots done, I needed to assess the damage and see how many I had. Thus came out the magnet trays from the 8 case. Looking at the power armoured March, I had a long way to go with a variety of models, either undercoated or partially painted. Luckily, however, it appeared that I had painted a ton of these Sons of Midnight clad. I forgot I did, so there was some pressure off my chest there. And thus we began with the never-ending quest of endless trim that we all know and love Chaos Marines for their infamous trim. I began the ones that I partially painted by painting the trims in Balthasar Gold, and this paint is fantastic but annoying at the same time, as no other company makes this exact shade of gold or bronze. Hint, Monument, be the first. So it's just about putting up and dealing with the ever-loving, passionate love child that is the Citadel Bolter Paint Pot. When this cheeky paint gets a blue wash of Drakenhof Nightshade, it cools down the copperness and mutes it, giving that Night Lord's trim look, but also allows the blue armour to really pop and take the centre stage. Once I had that done and blocked in, I moved on to the next items, being the Batwings embossed in their armour. I start off with Doombull Brown. This is because of the muted base coat, really lets the red pop and gives depth to the icons, but it also doesn't make the red too bright and clash with the blue. Whack in some Nuln Oil and you're halfway there. Right now, I just wanted to keep the base coat and slowly work my way up. I then moved on to base coating the skulls at the end of each backpack with Baneblade Brown. This marks the start to be washed in Agrax Earthshade with a few layers of Morghast Brown to really make them stand out. But at some point, I started getting frustrated with painting, mainly since I started to lose direction in my lists, and so my interest rather waned in painting these bad boys. So I started printing out some Nightlord bodies from LogEK and began to make some close combat options for my bully boys, attaching them into the Grimdark base toppers from Fallout Hobbies, where I also got the Nightlord shoulder pads from. I started making new champions with heads from Red Warden miniatures and began giving them heavy melee weapon to add some extra smack to their talk. And then, as with all good intended plans, we went totally off the rails.
Alright, so end of week 1, start of week 2. We said we were going to paint these 5, and we did get a good solid start, and like with all best laid plans, you have the plan, you throw it out the window, and you do what makes you happy. I like building. I really enjoy I enjoy building more than I do painting, and with 10th edition really showing the favouredness of close combat units for Space Marines, especially Chaos Space Marines. I did a little 3D printing, and we ended up making 20 Chaos Space Marines with chainswords and bolt pistols. I'm very happy. I also went digging around my bits box and found a ton of sprues that I need to de-sprue to find spare bits to make more, just like 10-man squad of more. So I can have 3 squads of 10. I'm very happy with this conversion. This is a guy who's actually just my new champion. He has the heavy weapon, as you can see. Well, as you will see. He's got a little icon, so he's got his little chaos icon being an impaled body, because obviously, why wouldn't you? It's Night Lords. It's about torture and mutilation, because it's fun, and because it's funny. So, outside of that, I've had a few games of my Night Lords, and I'm just a bit aimless with the map right now. I feel as though once I've got some more rhinos, I've got about 4 rhinos, but I need to paint them and such. They're all relatively built. I just got to print out some top doors to make them look more Night Lordsy and such. Once all that's done and dusted, maybe I might feel my Night Lords a bit more. I'll still give them a crack. It's just right now, in terms of list creation, I'm kind of aimless with them. I'm kind of going with throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I'm not really... I feel like I'm not really vibing with them right now. God, that's such a different phrase than I'm used to saying. But what I do like about these models is the fact that they are, well, they're mine, they do look Night Lordsy. I just can't seem to get what I want from them. So I like the idea that they play on psychological warfare, but I just feel as though right now there's a ton of other armies or other units that do it better than the Chaos Space Marine range does right now. Raptors is nice for -1 leadership aura, but then you got things like Ethereal Stern who can just do mortal wounds on leadership 8 to Chaos Space Marines, and then you've got other things like Dark Eldar and such, which just seem to play the leadership game a little bit better for Battle Shock. So you kind of just sitting there and you're going, really? I'm generic Chaos Marine X, like in 4th edition Chaos Space Marine Codexes. I want to enjoy my Chaos Marines, but I'll tell you what I'm enjoying more of. My little Red Corsairs for Kill Team. I had my first game of Kill Team the other weekend, and I really enjoyed it, actually. I won it. First time I'm winning something, but what I enjoyed about it was a nice little game. We didn't really play objectives or too much. We only played the combat mechanics, but it was fun. The way how you parry and attack through for attacks was quite nice. The little flavoursome rules, like the different types of weapons, actually visualising each weapon, which one's my favourite? My favourite model. Here he is somewhere. I can't see without my glasses. You're welcome. This boy, my big gunner. Can't wait to paint him. It's just big Gatling minigun. It's awesome. It's not the Havoc chain cannon. It's just a regular chain cannon. Legionary with a chain cannon. The Reaper chain cannon. It's just miniguns. Why not? And it's fun. It doesn't really do that well against Space Marines, but I can guarantee I'm seeing Guardsmen and Skitarii just die like flies to this thing. But yeah, this is a fun model. I can't wait to paint this one up. So I think Chaos right now is in a very kill team position for me, but I also have other armies that I want to build, and I'm really feeling, as you can see from all this, my Black Templars. So recently I've just started building, still work in progress, but this is my Marshal, Marshal Holden of the Armata Crusade. And these are the ones who go to fight the Black Templars and retake the Armata sector from the Necropolis Warband. This all happens just before the Ark Bowman storyline, but hopefully that'll be another story for another day. I am looking forward to getting my Black Templars done, because when I'm making lists for them, I've got 6 different variations. I want Dreadnought lists, I want to throw in my 2 boxes of Gastus, I want to throw in Crusaders. I want to throw down obviously my Marshal, but I also want to throw down Helbrecht, my big boy Helbrecht. And obviously the man, the myth, the legend that he is, the hero of Hell's Reach, wherever he may be, Grimaldus. So right now, I just want to build because I enjoy building more, and I know I've got a ton of stuff to build. So that's where my priority is going to lie for the rest of the month. We're just going to see how much of my Black Templars we can build and get done. I don't think everything will get finished, just because I need to order bits from both Liber Demonica and Archie's Forge. And obviously that takes time to come in. Once they're in, we'll be straight back on. But right now, this month, I'm just going to dedicate to building, just seeing how far we get. I want to get so much more built, and I want to play with my Black Templars finally. So, week 2, building Black Templars.
So with the Armata Crusade underway, I had a monumental challenge in front of me. Not only did I have to restore what broke before, but I had to push ahead and get new units built. It certainly was not going to be an easy challenge, but a challenge I was more than willing to meet. I started with some simple basing that I had been meaning to do for months, but never getting round to do it. So I decided now is the time, and with heroes like Grimaldus and his servitor tech bros. The base toppers were modified from Illuminatus, which was then edited into a base topper by Mesa. Check them out folks in the description below. And honestly, these toppers are amazing. They give a sense of true grim dark battlefield gravitas that the Templars are known for, and the one I based Grimaldus really gives him so much more dynamicism to his stoic pose. He is definitely dedicated to the cause in the face of battle. I then moved on to the Redemptor Dreadnoughts. These were the biggies that I needed to get done, as they were both gifts from friends and family, so I wanted to give these confession boxes special attention to so they looked part of my eternal crusade. I used the main body parts from Great Tide Studios, but with these parts I went to a specialist printer in the UK called Archie's Forge. They make their own blend of resin that has some flexibility so it's not quite as brittle. They also hold exclusive rights to some people's designs with certain accessories that I will be making a purchase of sometime in the future. The resin is of great quality, and at least to me the resin will never replace HIP's plastics in terms of material, but their kit bashing potential, Archie's Forge, is of great quality standard, and I would recommend them because you do get your worth out of them. My only critique with the design is that the front door does not wrap around the existing plastic plate and is very loose. I'm hoping when they get undercoated they will provide a bit of thickness and stiffness needed to keep the doors in place. The missile launcher came from a different kit from Black Rock Miniatures. I printed that one myself, and in all honesty the missile launcher's style and Black Templar aesthetic just called to me. It looks amazing. It holds that brazy feel I love when it comes to putting witches on the pyre and adds some intimidation factor to the Dreadnought. The sarcophagus door is from Ashley JCB Thomas, which I felt with the chains and swords really added more gravitas to their ancient story as to why they were entombed in the first place. So overall the models were quite straightforward to build. My only major critique is that the arms were severely stiff, so they take a lot of effort to turn them, to lock them in place, and that the elbow joints are very loose and hard to squeeze back on once the main body is fully assembled. I think in the future I will be using plastic glue to keep them together because it's just not worth it for the posability factor. Other than that, the conversion kits really added to that thick, chunky boys look that they deserve to be. That, and I do like the fact that most of the pegs for the optional weapons are a plush fit and hold together well, which excites me to know I don't need to put in the effort and money for more magnets. Lastly, during the week I got a sweet deal from a friend with a Leviathan half for the Space Marines, and I wasted no time getting stuck into these models, starting with the Infernus squad, and slowly making my way through as many bodies as I had on me during this time. I printed out Great Tide's brazier accessories to give a bit more Black Templar grandeur to them, and when I can afford it I will be adding more bits to them and the base toppers too. I then got set to work on the Biologist. This was a rather straightforward kit bash using the Black Templars Gravis shoulder pad from the Games Workshop's Bits pack and a Horus Heresy Mark III helmet to give it a bit more individuality, as well as a small repose of the Servitor medical arm to add a bit more subtle dynamicism to the model. It was really nice getting a very Black Templar feel to this by adding the Mark III, just giving that Royal Crusader Knight feel to what is essentially a very generic looking model for generic sci-fi trooper. I then went straight into work on what would become my Terminator Marshal. So, this guy was previously built, so my field of kit bashing this guy was limited unless I wanted to completely dismantle it and re-clean the damage from the glue, making this a trickier build than usual for me. Fortunately, some of the parts of the model, like his pre-existing base, was easy to dismantle. The only real issue I had was the head, as it was hard to cut out and clean the inside of his armour, and that's because the helmet I replaced it with came from the Bayard's Revenge kit, which was hard to fit in, having to shave the laurel off and then having to deal with the neck piece of the armour as that had melted, and having to clean that up was rough. I then cut off the arms to replace the Sword of Judgment and a 3D printed shield that would come later. Overall, I'm very happy with the Sword of Judgment, as it looks like a smooth fit and it looks as though it's all in alignment, and it doesn't look out of proportion with the Terminator arm.
Okay, so end of week 2, start of week 3. So this week has been a very, very, very eventful week. After basically not abandoning my Night Lords, but I'm not putting them on the shelves, but I am giving them a break. And the reason why I'm giving them a break, to be quite honest, to be boiling it down to the main bottom line here. When building these Black Templars, I felt very rejuvenated for Warhammer again. It's hard for my Night Lords to feel as passionate as I once did. That's not to say I've given up on them. Definitely not after the amount I've fucking spent on them. Absolutely not. It's just right now I'm painting units like these bolter guys, and I'm questioning why I'm doing this, because I'm not putting these on my lists. I'm putting the close combat stuff in, but not these bolter dudes. So I'm questioning why am I painting these first. The only reason I am is because they're undercoated and they're fully assembled first. That's it. And it's nice to have a painted collection, but I think a lot of people will agree with me is when you have a project, say, a collection like this, and you have a ton of unpainted models, and you want to make your first army list to play games with, you'll then paint to that list. And then from that point forward, you have a solid foundation to grow from. Right now, when it comes to my Night Lords, I don't have that solid foundation. I'm throwing lists together, but nothing seems to synergize. So nothing seems to very come together. In 9th edition, I wasn't a big fan of my lists because they felt very strong-armed into maximising possessed and spamming possessed. But it was something that worked. Sure, you jump through 9 different hoops to make the morale phase work, but it was a direction that had a goal at the end of the day. When Games Workshop have taken away my jump lords for Legends, when they said Legends, what they really meant was the Horus Heresy units. They just took away, like, you can't even have jump lords, but Space Marines can have their jump chaplains and jump captains. Well, that's fun, isn't it? So, right now, they've taken away those options from me. The Horus Heresy units, pseudo took away. I play Legends still. I have friends who are more than happy to play Legends because they have Legends units themselves in regards to Horus Heresy units. But those units, even when we do play with Legends, there is a bittersweet taste. Even then, bittersweet sounds a bit much, but there's a little like bitter aftertaste from that. It's yeah, I can, but then you have to go through the challenge of you want to play, meet new people. You have to have that conversation about pickup games. And then obviously tournaments will just ban them because that's what they do, even though they aren't really that competitively viable. They'll still ban them regardless because for some reason. I think if people, personally, my personal opinion is if people want to bring legend units to a tournament, they're not competitively viable, just let them. It's not going to harm the tournament. Those people, according to, if you go on Reddit and all the other internet sources, those people stay on the bottom tables. Allegedly. So, what harm does it do? I can understand mechanically where if the codex gets updated and it mechanically doesn't work anymore, there's a bit of room for debate about that. I understand that. But right now, in current 10th edition, nothing really is, mechanically speaking, broken in that context. So I don't see the harm in it right now. But alas, it still leaves a bit of sweet taste, because there's a ton of stuff I would love to do with Legends. Like, I would love to have my Whirlwind Scorpius. I'd love to have 3 Whirlwind Scorpiuses in my Night Lord's army to force battle shock tests. Like, have Raptors flying up for that 6-inch aura of -1 leadership as like a spot unit, and then just launch from the artillery. Have the control piece of the board, just launch that artillery. Sounds very Iron Warriors, doesn't it? Well, can't say you're wrong. But that sounds like fun. But again, you have to have that conversation with your opponents. And a lot of people don't want that conversation. They just want to rock up with points and just go, here's 2,000 points. They don't want to deal with the hassle of that length of the social contract, as people would describe it. Now, in comparison, when I've been building my Black Templars, I've been having a whale of a time. Honestly, as you've been watching, as you've seen, building these dreadnoughts, even with the most loose piece in the world, apparently this wraps around the plastic part, doesn't. But, other than that, like I say, this is detachable. This is detachable with the plasma gun, or plasma cannon, and no magnets needed. It's literally just pop in, pop out. You need a little fiddle room because it's a very tight fit. That's why you don't have to magnetize it, and I absolutely love that. So that is the right direction for Games Workshop to go, in my personal opinion. But building these dreadnoughts, seeing them come together, as you've seen, with the whole iconography, bulking them out with the extra armor plates of like the Black Templar stuff, having the inbuilt Icarus pod launcher, the candles, the braziers, the shoulder, yeah. I'm really excited to use these dreadnoughts in a game. I really want to use them, and I want to see how far I get with them because they look awesome. These look like walking, talking confession boxes. They walk up to the enemy, they scream, "Confess!" and then slam the fists down into the enemy. Confess their existence is sin, especially if they're vile Xenos, like Tyranids. And then you've got other characters that I've built, special characters that I'm playing to my own narrative, along the Armata Crusade, against my Night Lords of the Necropolis Warband at the time, with Marshal Holden. Marshal Holden, the Marshal of the Armata Crusade. And in all honesty, this looks great. It's not finished. I'm missing the knee piece here, but what I'm planning on doing is to get a little plate, one of those shoulder pauldrons that I can never remember the name of. It's probably something butchered, Latin or German or whatever 40k likes to do. I'm going to get one of those shield pauldrons that go here, and I'm going to put it on the knee pad instead. And then put a little bit of green stuff, whack it on, and then put a little bit of green stuff sausage over it. And just try and get a little bit of tinfoil or something and make a texture so it looks like it's a welded metal plate, just welded together. And like I say, just having the shield here and such, it just looks nice. And as people have seen from the work in progress, when I got sold a Space Marine side of the Leviathan box, this Terminator Captain, I'm so looking forward now. I didn't realise this was going to look as good as it was. When, like, I had an idea in my head. I am looking forward to making the 3D printed shield for the Storm Shield and getting this guy fully done on a base topper. I'm excited. Like, I'm looking at this guy and I really like how he's going. I really like how he's worked. The Sword of Judgment relic that's on his arm, it's all fitting together so beautifully. Having the Inferno squads with the little braziers is very tongue-in-cheek, but again, like, this isn't finished, but I love how this looks. I love the extra effort. Like I say, I'm going to get some 3D printed pieces because our mate Archie, when I get paid towards the end of the month, I'm probably going to whack a good £100 towards his way and get some 3D printed parts that one he sells. Oh, sorry, they sell. And then with the shoulder plates, just get my Dremel with the cutting bit, cut it off. Just speed, efficiency, just cut the main chunks off, file it down, put on the 3D printed shoulder pads like the chains on the cross and such. Like I say, when I put Grimaldus together, no, Grimaldus is in the box, but again, putting Grimaldus together. Oh no, Grimaldus is here. I talk a lot of bullshit. Putting that base topper just makes him pop. He looks like a hero of Hell's Reach. He is walking across the debris of fallen statues, and he's going to make he's just going to make the enemy bleed. And going to regret ever defiling the Emperor's sanctimonious architecture. Like I say, I'm busy like debasing so I can rebase the Terminators, and I've got to say I love the new Terminators. Chunky is the word for them, and it works. I like proportion. I like scale in my games. One of the main things that I love about like the Chaos Space Marine range is how they compare to a normal human, and they are a head taller, as they should be, because they're 8 foot as opposed to the usual 5 to 6 foot of a guardsman. It's amazing to see. Like, I used to play with back in 2007 5th edition when we had the mini marines. When they were the same size, you didn't feel that like depth of oomph. You just thought they were just some fancy guys in power armor, especially if you didn't know the lore. Seeing the size comparisons now, when you see a Primaris next to a guardsman and get a feel of scale and depth, now you just start feeling that demi-human feel, that demigod vibe, the Angels of Death feeling that you get, and it's just amazing. In all honesty, it's when you compare the old sculpts to the new, especially when you've never taken a break like I have from 2007 till now. Seeing that transition of like how the kits have been updated, it is a little bit of a shock. I'm not gonna lie, because some of the kits that people say are old, I still remember when they got released. It just feels like yesterday. So it's like when people say like certain kits are old, and I'm just sat there going, I remember when that was released first time. It's a little bit of a shock, I'm not gonna lie, but seeing like these Stern Guard and having the ability now to actually just make the army in the aesthetic direction that I want. So like Primaris, not a big hate Mark 10 helmets. They look too generic. They are generic space soldiers. They are not Space Marine helmets to me. The Darth Vader Vox Grill, that's Space Marine. That's intimidating. That's imposing. When an Eldar is lying with his arm blown off and the left leg blown off and it's staring directly into the face of its aggressor, it knows to shit itself well. So yeah, when you see and having like the whole gothic church-like vibes that are the Black Templars, the whole I am really the embodiment of the Angel of Death here. That's what I love, the grim darkness, the grimmest, darkest parts of 40k, because if you're going to play in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, why not just go full hog? So when I'm building these, and when I'm building lists online through the 40k app, I'm really enjoying the list directions. I've got about 4 lists. I want to build like a March of the Ancient lists with 3 Tech Marines and 6 Dreadnoughts I've got 2 ballistas, 2 brutalis, and 2 redemptors, and 2 ironclads. It may not be competitively viable, but it looks fun as hell to play. I'm looking at 1,000-point lists, and I want to put my Infernus guys in a drop pod, slam them down, drop pod assault, and then purge. Because that just sounds awesome. You've got like some backfield unit that I can just target, slam the pod down, and set them alight. That feels great to me. That idea that I've got a role for a part of the army, and I know it's going to work. As long as I, the player, am good and position it correctly, that feels good. I can't say the same for my Night Lords. I'm putting units together thinking, well, this might work with this, and I'm not really feeling them. But my Black Templars, I am. I'm really looking forward to just, repair more of my existing force that accidentally fell off the kitchen table. This very table you see. The next thing I'm looking at doing is probably finishing off this Terminator Captain, getting all the base toppers set for these Terminators, and next week, we're going, week 3 beginning, I'm planning on building not 1 but 2 kits. So, on the Friday, as you know, I built one of these in 3 hours straight. One of these Dreadnoughts, 3 hours. No breaks at all. I just got that specific one done in 3 hours straight. And that felt like a personal achievement. A really big personal achievement. And it felt like a big achievement because I took a week to build this one just to make sure everything was right. Then I had an idea of how these are built. I went straight to work on the second one and just got it done. These, I feel I can build these faster. They're not going to be completely finished. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to decorate the tank. It's just the base. I have an idea where I'm going to get a base top and put it down, but I'm going to get my friend in who knows how to use Work Blender. And with the base top, I'm going to make a little hole in the centre of the base so that the flying stand can just go directly into the base and be glued in. Especially on the Gladiator and the Repulsor, because I feel that it'll make the model pop, but because of where it is, you won't see the hole in the ground where the plastic bit stand will go in. And I really look forward to building these as well. I really look forward to building this because I see the Gladiator Lancer's weapon and it just looks fun. It may only be 1 shot, but it's a big boom shot. You just roll the dice, roll the wound, have fun with the damage roll, right? I really like how this looks. And especially the Black Templars, where you essentially get a free multi-melter on top of it. Because why not? Give it a multi-melter, because why not? And just the idea to actually just either magnetize, or if it's just a plush fit, like the main weapons on the Redemptor. If these are plush fit, I'll be so happy. But we'll find that out once we build it. But I'm just looking forward to doing that and then building this and having more, being able to have more built, have more on the ground, so I can start playing games with them. You won't be seeing battle reports for a long time because this is going to take a long time to paint, but once all this gets painted, I look forward to doing Black Templar battle reports along with a few friends and just showing off the army in its Arvame Perator might. Okay, so what is next week's goals? We're going to build these. These are the bottom line. These are the big goals. I'm also hoping to finish this Terminator Captain as an additional one and get these Terminators done. At the end of next week, I'm thinking on grabbing some magnets and then we can start magnetizing them to boxes so that they're safe for transport and travel to be able to start playing games again. Once I get to be able to start playing games, I'm away. I can guarantee I'm going to enjoy playing 10th edition because, unlike previous years past, I have a good group of friends who have like minds, who want to play for the story, play for the narrative, and play for Ruler Cool. They want to see their cool kit bashers take on my cool kit bashers. We want to visualize the jewels made. It's just going to be a ton of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking for, and that is why I'm trying so hard to get all these built and painted, because I want to have all these Black Templars purging the mutant, the heretic, and the alien. Jobs are good. So that is the end of week 2. We're going to start with week 3 now. I look forward to seeing how far I get through. Hopefully we'll get these done. Week 3 begins.
Now onto the tanks. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to build the Impulsor. That one was maybe too ambitious to both get done in a week, but I took my time with the Lancer as I wanted this to be seamless. My overall opinion of this kit was that it wasn't as tedious to build as I thought it was going to be. The grav pads on the bottom of the tank were far less hassle than I thought they would be, as opposed to, say, the treads on the firstborn vehicles. There wasn't that much work to do on this tank other than add the Black Templar multi-melter and add the Black Templar plastic decorations on. Overall, I was very happy with the finished result, and I really found this kit a real advancement on Games Workshop's plastic design, with the fact that the turrets were plush fit after taking all the pegs off the main turrets and only needing to magnetise one main turret, that being the Lancer turret itself. After the Lancer was built, I went straight to work getting the Leviathan Terminators done. These were simple kits, but I must agree I really like the girth and chunkiness of the new kits. They really feel as to what Terminators should finally feel like on the battlefield. I do hope we get some multi-part cross-compatibility to Assault Terminators when the next kit arrives, as I'd love to grab some Hammer Boys for Hammer Time for Crusade O'Clock. I used Great Tide Studios 40mm Grimdark bases to get them into the gothic Castlevania-like tone and mood I wanted to set for my Black Templars. Lastly, the Terminators wouldn't be complete without the Terminator Marshal's completion, and so it was set that the whole squad to be done by the end of the week. The Marshal was given his Storm Shield from Great Tide Studios and a base topper from Mesa, and it really does add more gravitas to the model. All in all, I'm very happy with this conversion. It feels like a Knights Templar, it crusades like a Knights Templar. I'm looking at you orcs, you're gonna get purged. Ave Imperator. So this week was a week of finishing what was started. This week was all about getting the stuff already built magnetised. When I magnetise, I use Duncan's method, but I found that when you just glue the magnet to the base, there leaves a 1mm gap, which means that with no flush fit, my models kept wobbling around in the box. To remedy this, I use a dab of green stuff and then wrapped around superglue to weld the magnet to the base, so I never have to replace or re-glue the magnets back on the base again.
Okay, so last week of this hobby month, seeing how much we could get done. I bought myself some new tools. Payday came around the corner, so I bought myself some new snippers. Hopefully these will be a bit more precise and accurate with more kit bashing things. I also bought myself a little hobby saw, so I don't just have the bone saw now, I have a legitimate hobby saw that can be used for things like that Ballista's Dread. So as you can see, it's a bit more open. From all the magnetisation that I've done this week, I've managed to get most of my Black Templars based at least. And because I've had most of my Black Templars based, I've also magnetised them. So, what have we specifically done this month? Can be seen in these boxes. So, if we just move that around. So as you can see, all the wibbly wobblies, because they're going on top of bases and such, all the fun. But yeah, I'm quite happy to see that this is growing. I've also got a new 9-litre box, so I'm not using the extra large lid, because as you can see, it's a bit big. But the fact that I can just take them out, this is like my Furnace squad. Yeah, it doesn't have its head. Yeah, the shoulder pads need dremeling off and such. But I do have it all magnetised. It's all on magnets. I just need to print out the base toppers and such. When it comes to my Black Templars, this army, I am still excited to give these a go. I'm still very much excited to really just get playing with them. But I haven't finished building everything as of yet. So my plan is in August to finish building my Black Templars. And what I mean by that is getting everything built, based, maybe with all 3D printed bases, or the base toppers, and get everything boots on the bases and the bases magnetized. That's my goal. The resin pieces, the stuff I can 3D print, I will, but things that I do need to buy from like heads from Archie's Forge and all that, we're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm just basically gonna be very good with my money, save up, and then go full hog. I believe September. By the end of September, I should have all this Black Templar stuff built. And I mean, with all the shoulder pads and all the heads and all the backpacks, everything that I currently own will be built. So we got a lot of magnetized done. We didn't get the impulsor done, but that's okay, because the impulsor could be next month, and it's not as though I've just been sat on my backside doing nout. With this force, I've done a lot this month. I have constantly hobbied, I've constantly built, I've constantly converted. We went off from starting from Paint My Night Lords, putting that on the back burner, and then going full hog with my Black Templars. And in all honesty, it was a rewarding experience. We even got new models from a good deal with a friend, and we made something out of that with the Leviathan side, as you've seen with the little conversions that I've done. We've done a hell of a lot this month. So like I say, I've got all them magnetized. Dreadnoughts are magnetized with a bunch of characters that won't fit in a 4 litre. And that's okay. If I can just put this somewhere. So, and like I say, most of my characters are in here. It may be a case of I need 2 9 litres, just so that I can have my dreadnoughts and tanks and such, and then all my characters in another box. But I am liking where this is going. It's made me a little bit more energized for my Night Lords as well, as I've had ideas for conversions with Dread Knights and Hellbrute bits and Helldrake bits to make my own Forge Fiends. So it's just given my Night Lords some space to breathe. Don't need to think about them right now, but my Black Templars are basically on their way to being perfected. So what is happening in August? Well, we've got this to build, the impulsor. We also have this to build. That is a box of Agastus. But not just one box. Oh no. 2 boxes, alright? Like the meta-chasing bastard that I am, because I don't want anyone to have fun. I just want to go desolate, spam, and ruin everyone's day. The fact that I could say that with a straight face for so long. Okay. But yeah, basically, we're going to be converting these. I have bought 20 of the Plastic Horus Heresy missile launchers because I am going to fix Desolator models. I don't like them, you don't like them. Nobody likes them apart from like the 2 people who are hardcore GW fanatics. Other than that, I'm looking forward to converting 2 more Dreadnoughts, the Brutalis of all the Black Templar library that I've got and such. I'm looking forward to kit bashing and these Desolators. The only things that won't be built in here are the Primaris Lieutenants. I don't know what to do really with them. I don't see, aesthetically speaking, even with conversion bits, I just don't see them in my force. So I'm planning on just building them, painting them with 2 different Space Marine chapters. So I'm probably going to do Crimson Fists for one, because Crimson Fists are cool, and Ultramarines, so all the blue boys. Because apparently all I know is how to paint blue, if you look at my Night Lords. So, yeah. Probably that, and getting the rest done. I look forward to doing the Heavy Intercessors and get bashing them out, but right now, boots on the ground. It's boots on the ground. So that was a month of hobby progress for July. Let's hope we can get everything done that we've said here in August, and hopefully I'll be here at the end of this month, at the end of August, with another hobby progress video for you all to see. If you want to keep watching, if you want to keep a track on this progress, well, all you need to do is click the subscribe button. You know where everything is. I'm not going to be someone who's going to hop on because how many times have you heard it? Click the notifications, click the notifications, click the notifications, click notifications. No, if you want to watch it, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You know where everything is. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. This is the Warp Forge, signing out. And remember, keep on forging.